Hello, everybody. I'm sure you all must have seen the previous video and you would know the story of a woman. Do you resonate with it? If you do, then here is a simple test for you. 10 habits which end up weakening your mind. See, mindset is very important, people. If your mindset is going downhill, it is going to be an issue. So let's look at what the issues are, and then I'm going to give you the solutions for them. Okay. Okay. So we have the first one, the 10 habits itself. The first one would be dwelling on past events or past failures. Do you find yourself looking at situations wherein you end up thinking more about past events or past failures, and that is stopping you from moving ahead? It's stopping you from moving forward and taking action in your life. Okay. For example, say you want a job. All right. You have applied for a job and you were rejected. So now you start taking any action thinking that you are always going to be rejected. So you end up having that particular failure in mind and you don't move towards what really needs to be done. And that's causing a havoc on your life. Okay. So that is one first thing, which is dwelling on the past events. Okay. Now let's look at the second one. What is the second one? Negative self-talk. A lot of us do it, don't we? But again, that's something which is going to affect us in a very negative manner. Why? Because whenever you are thinking bad about yourself, you are constantly criticizing yourself or belittling yourself, then what happens to your confidence level? It is very hard to build confidence. It's very hard to take up new projects because you are condemning yourself in your mind. Okay. For instance, you will say, I'm not going to be good at this. I can't do it well. Or, this is not something, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for this particular project. Or these things are, not something which I should take up. Maybe I am not the person suitable for it. So, from time to time, you keep condemning yourself and looking down upon yourself and thinking that you're not suitable for that job. Okay. So that is one of the second habits which is not helping you. And if you're doing it, as I told you, you're taking a small little test. So wherever you feel that this is me, yeah, this sounds like me, then I want you to give a 1 over there. So if it was dwelling on past events and you feel, yeah, I do this, I end up doing this, I do dwell on past events, just give yourself a 1 over there. If you feel you are, the second habit wherein you're having a lot of negative self-talk about yourself, then give yourself another 1 over there. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the next feature, which is avoiding of challenges. Who avoids challenges? And why would you avoid challenges? What is it that's not allowing you to embrace? Or why is it that you feel shy to take up tasks or situations, when they come across with you? For instance, that you are in a group say you have a job and you have this opportunity to present in front of people, but you're like, no, 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 public speaking, that's not for me. I am an introvert. I can't, speak in front of people. What if they judge me? What if they laugh at me? Because of that, you will miss upon opportunities to grow yourself. Okay. Now, if that sounds like you, again, go ahead and give yourself a 1 over there. Okay. So that is about avoiding of challenges. The next is seeking constant validation. I want you to validate whatever I do, to acknowledge whatever I do. Do you understand how any person who is having this habit of constantly going on seeking somebody's validation, that person must be relying on someone's approval so that they are able to then move forward or then make whatever decision that they have to make. They are waiting. They are waiting that somebody approves whatever they are doing. Okay. For instance, it could be a spouse asking their spouse whether they are doing a good job, or an employee looking up at the boss for them to praise them so that they go ahead and move forward with the other job, or some other figure which is important for you, whose validation you are looking up to, and you will end up feeling lost if you are not getting it. It's like you need the feedback to move on in life. If that's you and you're waiting for any such approval from somebody else, give yourself a 1. I know it's difficult, it's really difficult to acknowledge and admit it. But if that's you, nobody's coming and seeing your test. But if you are not in a position to say it to you, then things will get very difficult. So at least acknowledge it to yourself first. Okay. Now let's look at the next habit, which is of constantly or easily giving up. Okay. Giving up easily. What happens over here? Why am I giving up easily? Let's look at what makes you give up easily. What stops you from embracing, or what makes you throw in that towel when you are encountering those challenges. When you're doing that, you're not allowing yourself to reach the full potential. Why? Because at the first instance of a threat, you just leave. It could be difficult conversations which you need to have with people. It could be a project. Suddenly you got a setback and you're like, okay, no, I'm not doing, leave it. It's not for me. Okay. So when you are doing something like that, you end up looking at competition in a negative way, because of which you are not allowing yourself to move further with that challenge. There is full possibility that you will be able to complete the task, but you just want to give up. You don't want to, get into that area of hard work, of blood and sweat. Leave it. Why bother? But sometimes you have to bother. And that's the truth of life, isn't it? Okay. So if you find yourself where you are giving up easily, where your goals are not that important, then I want you to give yourself a 1. Somebody says, okay, forget it. No, what is there? No big deal. And you're giving up easily because your time is not considered time. Your goal is not considered goal. That is also giving up easily. Okay. If that's you, then give yourself a 1. The next is when you're being easily influenced to do something when someone says it. Okay? You have to make a decision, but you change your decision because somebody else has asked you to do something and you are doing it way again and again and again. Okay? You have already made up your mind, you have made up your decision, but because somebody came and said something to you, you changed your decision. And this has not happened just once. This has happened many a times, and internally you feel frustrated. Why is your time not time? Why is it that when you make a plan, it's not acknowledged and it's not taken to a level of completion? Where is your sense of identity? Are you really going in the right direction? Okay. It could be, your friends who are making you change your mind. It could be your spouse who says, okay, instead of going out, we are just going to stay in today. So you may have decided, but then I am too tired. So why is your decision not counted as equally important? Okay. Now let's go to the next habit, which is of blaming others, right? Have a look at it. Do you feel that way? That you're constantly blaming somebody else for what is not working in your life? From now onwards, I don't want you to blame people. I don't want you to blame time. I don't want you to blame lack of money. I don't want you to blame your children, your circumstances, or some other XYZ for why you have not been able to achieve something in your life. Right? If you keep on constantly blaming others for the problems that you are having, then that means that you are not willing to take up responsibility for your life. You're not willing to take up responsibility for your actions. And if you don't do that, where is the solution? How will you look for the solution? From today, no blaming. No matter what happens, you're not blaming anybody else because of any issue in your life. Every time you think that because of X, Y, Z, this is happening, I want you to shun that thought away and say, no, I am responsible. I am the action taker. I will do it. Okay, I want you to say that to yourself over and over again, right? That is one way in which, you will be able to perform in a better manner in your environment. All right. Okay. Now let's look at the next, habit, which ends up weakening your mind. Oh my God, holding grudges. I mean, can you see the picture itself? It's literally the smoke is coming out of her eyes. There is a very beautiful quote which says that you may forget, but the body remembers. And if you're holding a grudge, you're holding that anger, that energy within, where you're not able to forgive someone, then that energy, that grudge, that negative flow is vibrating within you. And even that will not allow you to move further. That will end up taking so much of your time, space, and energy that, you will become bitter from inside. And that energy which you're holding in your body, it will even harm that body part of yours. Okay? That's the power of holding a grudge within, a feeling of revenge. And that will also equally make you unable to proceed or progress in life, because you are always having this feeling of deep anger, deep rooted anger towards another person. Not a nice feeling to have, guys. If that's, again, if you feel that way and you are able to recognize it, give yourself a 1. I don't know how many ones you have, but just see, just look at it. Sometimes it's necessary for us to know what's really holding us back. And these 10 things can seriously be causing a havoc. Okay. Focusing on the negative. Now, there is something known as, it's inherent in every human being. We have 70% ants crawling on in our brain. Ants, it means automatic negative thoughts. Okay. Every person has it. And because of that, it's an inherent nature where you will, as soon as you hear something, your mind will go to the negative first. Simple example, if you are a mom and your child, the bus of your child has not come, it's late by 10 minutes. What is the first thing that will come in your mind? Right? Okay, so you need to understand that your mind is built in that particular way to look at situations from a downhill point of view. And because of that, see, it's a chain. One negative thought will attract the other, then it will attract the other, it will attract the other, it will make a chain, and you will get caught up in that cycle, and that will stress you out. It will not allow you to do any meaningful work. If that's you, give yourself a 1. Okay. And that brings us to the last point, which is fear. Giving in to fear. Fear can be of many types, people. But here, let's just look at it as a broad variety and capacity. Basically, it's where it doesn't allow you to do anything that you really want to do. You're too afraid. You're too afraid of taking that risk, of trying anything new, of saying something that you really want to, because you are scared of what the outcome would be, what the consequences would be. And is that not making you miss out on your success, on opportunities to grow? So, okay. So these are some of the things which will end up weakening you from within. And you will keep thinking, why, when I am so educated, I am so smart, I am equally talented like somebody else, but they are doing well, but I am not? And you are having the answer right now, because these are the things which are stopping your progress. Now, you must have been giving a 1 to whatever, till now, till date. Look at your score. What is your score on 10? How many ones have you accumulated? Look at it. If you have, say, 3, around 1 to 3, then you are not having that much of a weak mind. There are a few challenges which you do face, but it's something which you will be able to overcome with time. Take action. Let, just, what are the things which are where the issue is. So start focusing on what their solution can be, and we will talk about it in the next video. Okay. If you are somewhere between 4 to 6, it's time you start doing something, because you really don't want to be in a position where you become very stuck and unable to move forward. where, this constant feeling of irritation and frustration at your own self is killing your time. And if you are above 7, then you have to do something to get out of that situation. You cannot be there. If you're going to be there, do you imagine what a havoc it's going to play on you yourself? How you're going to be stuck up? How you are allowing other forces to kind of control your life? Don't do that to you. In the next video, we will be looking at ways to strengthen the mind. So make sure you are there and you watch the video completely and fully. I hope that